Everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'll be sharing with you what is Log4Shell and how you can set up your own Log4Shell POC on Amazon Linux too. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first, I will explain to you what is Log4Shell and why is it so dangerous and why did it cause a panic when it was first discovered last year, 2021. Okay, so Log4Shell is kind of a exploitation that exploits the vulnerability exists in the Log4J. So Log4J is actually a popular Java library for logging error messages. So you go to a page that has a 404 error, you will actually log and then send to the system administrators. It is also known as a RC vulnerability because it allows an attacker to exploit the vulnerability using text messages to control a computer remotely. And when that happens, once the attacker establishes a connection to the vulnerable server, it can do anything inside the server. So how this exploitation works is that it actually exploits a feature in JNDI, it's a Java API that allows lookup of a variable via naming and directory service such as LDAP. Okay, and once it can connect to the LDAP server, so this LDAP server can control by anyone, right? So in this case, attacker can control the LDAP server, and they can redirect the lookup to load malicious Java code from their own servers. So right now, I'll be sharing with you how the exploitation can work. Now, you may be wondering, did I come up with this POC? Of course not. We have a lot of brilliant people out there who has come up with this POC. So I went to this GitHub and then I look for this user called Cosmo. This person has done up a beautiful Log4Shell POC. So what I'm going to do differently is that I'm going to post it online, and then so that people can actually visit this website at the same time to conduct this kind of exploitation. Okay, so right now the exploitation is done locally, but I will make it public so that anyone can launch this exploitation anywhere in the world. All right, so let's check out the diagram to see how it works. So first, you have a vulnerable web server that has the Log4J library installed. Now it has a public-facing website called HTTP. So it has a public-facing domain. It's called demolog4j.cloudDNS.ph. And we have a attacker machine. So first, attacker will launch a Netcat listener to listen for incoming connection. So the purpose is for the victim machine to actually connect back to the attacker machine. Now, at this point, attacker will also launch an LDAP referral server and also a temporary server. So this temporary server is the server that actually launched the exploitation code. Now, you may be wondering, then why do we still need a LDAP referral server? Because we are exploiting a feature that connects to the LDAP server via an LDAP protocol. So it's essential to have an LDAP referral server. Next, the attacker will actually go to the public website, which is demolog4j.cloudDNS.ph, and launch an arbitrary code through the vulnerability. So as you can see here, it's called JNDI LDAP. So JNDI is the Java API. LDAP is referring to the LDAP referral server, and see the attacker machine IP because he wants to connect back to the attacker machine. And we have the listening port on our temporary server, which is 1389. Now, once that is executed, it will create a reverse shell connection to our attacker machine, after which it will connect via the LDAP protocol to the LDAP referral server. And once the LDAP referral server receives this command, it will actually redirect the initial request to the temporary server. And this is where it hosts the secondary payload, which is called exploit.java, and then run this code on the target machine. And once that is established, it will create a reverse shell connection to the web server. And once the attacker gains access to the server, it can do anything. It can search for sensitive information and try to modify it or remove it and do all sorts of things. Later on, I will be sharing with you what the attacker can do after they have logged in to after they have gained access to the web server. Okay, so now let's start off with setting up the environment. So first, you go to this GitHub page. As you can see, this person has already created a Log4Shell POC. Very good. so far. It's very easy to use, and the way he has compiled it is very easy to execute. So there's instructions on what you can do. So you can actually look at the exploitation process. So this code that he has compiled is actually for the local machine, okay, for the local host. But for me, I will actually host it online, and let's take a look at how we can do this. So first, you have to download the code first. As you can see here, download zip. Then after which you unzip the file and then store it at the location that you want to set up the environment in. So download zip. Then you have to go to the bottom and then download this Java version as well. You have to download the Java as well. So right now the Java version that they have set is this version, Java -8U20. Okay, after which you have to rename the file to this, which I will show you later. Now, if you click on this link here, it will actually directs you to this page, which is where Oracle holds the past Java versions. Okay, so as you can see here, actually there's no 8U20. So I found the one that is closest, which is a 201. So you can actually download this file and then unzip afterwards. Okay, so all the instructions are here. You can actually follow it. Okay, so next you just move it to a location where you're going to execute your file. So as you can see here, I already put inside this this location. So it's important for you to move the Java folder into this Log4Shell POC main folder, because later on when we launch the exploitation code, we need this here. So first what I will do is I will actually rename this file first. Rename the file to this, because it only works with this this name. So let's go back here. We'll just do a okay, so you're done correctly. So next, let's go to our Amazon AWS account. So first of all, you can see that this is the place where we create the instances. So now we are going to launch two instances. One is the vulnerable web server. The other one is the attacker machine. So first, we just click launch instance. So just give it a name, vulnerable web server. Then next, we choose Amazon Linux 2. And then we allow SSH connection. Okay, over here. Then we also have to choose a key pair. So yeah, so we have to create a new key pair. So we just create one. So we just put demo.pm demo1.pm. Then we create key pair. Okay, so we're going to use this private key file later to log into this instance. Okay, so once you are ready, you just click launch instance. So wait for it to launch. So once you have created, you will see something like this. So you can see the instance is pending. So just give it a while for the instance to start properly. So next, let's launch next instance. Time round, we put attacker. So same thing, we put Amazon Linux as our OS. Let's go down. Okay, key pair, we use back the same one, the demo1.pm, and we allow SSH traffic. Okay, so once we are okay with the settings, we just click launch instant. Okay, let's look at all the instances that we have launched. Fresh. So you can see here our attacker machine is still pending. So right now we connect to this vulnerable machine first to set up the environment. So first, make sure that your private key file at the right place. Next, we go back here, copy. So yes, there we have it. We have successfully connected to the vulnerable web server. So you can see here now it's empty. Okay. So next, what we need to do is actually copy the file. Is to copy this file to here. Okay. So next, let's open another terminal. Okay. So the file is here. So we want to copy this file and upload to AWS instance. So first, let's run this one. So sudo is a super user privilege, and this secure copy. So we want to upload this folder, the AWS instance through SSH port. So this HR is the directory, and this one for the private key that we want to upload. It's for the private key that we want to use. Let's see here, private key. And next, this one is the file that we want to upload, and this is the location. So once we are okay, just click. And you can see now it's uploading all the folder information. Just give it a while. So there is one option that you can use to upload your folder or files. The next option is you can install this application called FileZilla. Yeah, so this is another software that you can use to upload your file. So just wait for one more for it to upload. All right, so now we are done. So let's go back to our server machine. Right, so you're on our left. So now, as you can see here, the file has been uploaded. So next, what we need to do is to actually install the Docker file. So if you go in, you can see here, there's actually a Docker file. So we're going to run this Docker file later on. So right now, this server does not have the Docker installed, so we need to install that. We install Docker on Amazon 2. So we for this, and then we just run this. All right, so the next step. So we change this so that we can run all Docker commands without using a sudo. Okay. Next, we have done that. We go start the Docker service. Okay, then let's look at the status. Okay, it's active, running, very good. So what we need to do now is to start launching the Docker file. Oops, permission denied. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So we just have to go again. Wait for a while. Okay, next, what we need to do is run this. Oops, put sudo. Yeah, just in case you're wondering where do I get the from, right? You can go back here where they built the vulnerable web app. Okay. So let's go back. You can see here now the server is started. So how do you know whether is it working? So we go back here, back to our instance, go back to our here. Go here and paste the public address here. Then you need to go to the port that is actually running on, which is 8080. Now you may be wondering why is it 8080? Because Tomcat by default is actually running on 80 ports. Okay, so Tomcat is like very similar to like Apache. So in this case running on port 8080. So there's something we forgot to do, which is we forgot to open the port. Right. So we go back to our security group. As you can see now, there's only port 22. So we only allow port 22 for incoming connection. So we go back here. We open port 8080. Now we allow port 88. Go back here. There you have it. So this is our public IP address running on port 8080. Now, if let's say we want to change it to our default port with port 80, can we do it? Yes, we can. But we need to modify it at a Docker file. So over here, let's go back to our here. It's running. So we just stop first. Then we clear. Then let's modify. Oh, okay. So as you can see here, this is the Tomcat. It's running on Tomcat. So Tomcat by default is running port 8080. So we need to expose port 8080. But what we can do is that we can actually redirect the port 8080 to port 80. So do that. Now let's paste. As you can see here, this is the code to run on port 8080 instead of the default. Alright, so once we are okay, we just click save. And let's run the command again. Time. Okay, next. Again. run. So once you see this, that's okay. So if run back this IP address again, port, you realize this side can't be reached because now we are running on port 80. Oops, once again, we need to change the security group again. So now instead of 8080, we need to change to 80. Save rules. You see, there you have it. So now it's running on the port 80. But as you can see now is what we see is the IP address. Very ugly. We want to have a domain name. So how can we do that? We actually can go to a cloud DNS, my favorite place, to register a free domain. Okay, so once you have logged in, you will see something like this. So you just register a new one from here. Then a free zone. Of course, you see, you have to follow this. So for testing purposes, I think it's okay. So you just register. And you will see something like this. So now next, you hit add record. So yes, hit record. Then you put the name, sorry, the IP address. Yeah. So next you have to wait for it to update finish. Alright, so once you see this updated, you can go to this to take a look. Yeah, so you see, as now if you go to this domain name, we will see this web app. Okay, so that's all for the first part. Now we go to the second part, which is to configure at the to set up the LDAP referral server and the temporary server at the attacker machine instance. So we just let it run. Back here. Next, what we need to do is to connect to the attacker instance. So same thing, we go here. Here. Then next, what we need to do is copy this. All right, there we go. We have logged in successfully. So right now, if you put in this, you can see there's nothing inside. So right now, we need to upload the file again to the folder to the attacker machine. So let's okay. Okay, very good, very good. So next, same thing, copy this, right, and enter. Oops. All right. All right, it's finally done. So now let's go back here, our second machine. Here. You can see here. Now in. So let's go back to our these POC instructions. So what we need to do next is to run the Python file. So the one who created this POC is very good because he put all the requirements actually inside this .txt file. So you just run this pip install. So that's it. But first, you need to install the Python 3 and also install this. Okay. So okay. So since ours is Amazon Linux, so very similar. Is just put this. So Python. Oh, okay, we can run the Python version first. So if you click on Python version, so by default it's Python 2.6. But we need the Python 3, so we have to install it. Oh, already installed and latest version. Okay, that's good. Next, what we need to do, install this pip file. Install this copy the oh done. Pass. Okay, and next run this script with Python as well. For the latest version. Okay, so okay, so that's about it. Next, let's go back to our folder. Log4J. Then we need to run the store assignment. Successfully installed. Then next, we need to run Okay. So this is the attacker IP address. You can see here. So maybe let's right here. So we're going to find the attacker IP address. All right. So basically, this is the file Python 3. Sorry, this is the file poc.py, and this is the attacker IP address. And then you will be listening on the port 8000, and the listening port it will be 9001. Okay, so this is the script where you will launch the LDAP server and also the temporary server. Okay, so remember that there are 3 ports you also need to open. First is 9001, 8000, and later on there's another port called 1389. So maybe we just launch this first to see if there's any error. So as you can see here, it says that no module name Colorama, but we actually have installed it. So if we do a pip install Colo, you can see here, requirement already satisfied. So what we can do is try another method. Is we specifically state that we want to use Python 3 for it. Okay, so once we have that, then let's take a look one more time. All right, so you can see here, it's successful. So once you see this, it means it has launched that able to launch the code successfully. Okay, so remember we need to open 3 ports, so it's 8000. Later on we will launch another listening port on 9001, and this is the temporary server port. So let's go back here, go to our security group. Let's configure rules. So first is 1000. Next 9001. 138. Save rules. All right. So once we are done, we'll see something like this. So next, what we need to do is launch a listening port. That's a listening port, but our listening port we are using a Netcat, so Netcat is not installed. So what we need to do is maybe get this first. Right here. Then we need to install Netcat. So and go here. Install Netcat. Okay, so once we are done, we can verify Netcat installation. Okay, so this means it's installed. So next, we need to open another terminal. So maybe let's create So let's go back here. Go back to our attacker machine. Yes. Oops. Get the sudo. So, all right. So next, what we do is to launch the Netcat listener. All right. So once we have that, and we also launch the code. Once it's done, then what we need to do next is to in this code. So maybe I'll explain a little bit. So as you can see here, this is a JNDI Java API here. So now it's connected to the LDAP, which is controlled by the attacker machine. This is the attacker IP address and listening on this port. This is the port that resides in the temporary server where we will host the exploitation code. Okay, so copy this. Oh, by the way, why we need a colorama? Because of the color. You see, now the color change, right? Instead of white, it's the green color. So that's why the module is there to give this kind of color. Anyway, let's go back here. Now we can here. Password can be anything. So we click login. Let's go back here. So as you can see here, now our Netcat listener has established a connection. So this is the victim machine IP address. Okay. So now if we do this, you can see here, now we are in the web server. So these are the files inside the web server. So the attacker can do anything over here, right? So let's say if you go to the app, this, they realize, oh, there's a root folder. Let's go into it. See what's inside. And as you can see, there's an index.jsp. So when we go to visit a website, so usually they will show the index.html file or it's a index.jsp file. So JSP stands for Java Server Page. Okay, so yeah, so we can actually rename this file to else. Then you can see now the name has changed. What we can do next is we can actually go to a GitHub website that hosts a deface page. Okay, so we can go to this any deface website that's hosted on GitHub. So the one that I use is by Nomi. So this is a template. So if we do this, we do a wget to get the file and enter. So we this again. You can see here now we have an index.html file. So what will happen if we go back to our website here? Instead of seeing this right now, you will see this deface website. So this is one of the attacks that a user can perform to a vulnerable web app. So as you can see, the exploitation is very easy to be conducted by the attacker. So if you are using a Log4J library, please make sure that you are updated to the latest version. So whatever I'm sharing with you is just to share with you how the exploitation can happen and how you should be vigilant and defend against such vulnerabilities. Alright, so that's all for my demonstration. I hope you have enjoyed this session. And if you like this video, I appreciate you can give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.